Surrender your arms.
No, we will not. Put down your weapons.
So now the main force of the Irish Volunteers, the Irish Citizens Army and some other Irish regular forces have taken possession of the GPO. The Irish start to fortify their positions and they hope to hold out. The plan is to seize the major buildings in Dublin and hope that the rest of the country rises in open rebellion. What we will see in a short reenactment of the actual events, it was almost an event that was almost doomed from the start. However, there were very brave, very gallant men and women who were involved in the Easter Rising in 1916. So now, as we see, the Irish Volunteers are preparing to defend themselves and defend the GPO. Soon we shall see Padraig Pearse, one of the main leaders of the Easter Rising, emerge from the GPO to read the Proclamation of Independence. You're now going to see members of the Irish Volunteers raise the three flags that flew over the GPO in Easter week 1916. You're going to see the first flag, which is the flag of the Irish Republic. The The second flag was the Starry Plough, and the Starry Plough represents the socialist members, the Irish Citizens' Army, that fought on Easter week. And last but by no means least, you see the Irish tricolour. The Irish tricolour is especially symbolic, as we all know, the first tricolour was flown in Waterford on 7th of March 1848, and again, it'll be next seen in prominence in Easter week. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please. Now that the Irish volunteers have raised their flags over GPO garrison, they now prepare to defend against the inevitable onslaught. But now we'll see one of the main leaders of the Easter Rising emerge from GPO to read the Proclamation of Independence.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and to her open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment, and, supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying on the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies, to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished, except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the last 300 years, they have asserted it in arms, standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world. We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to, and hereby claims the allegiance of every Irishman and Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights, and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all the children of the nation equally and oblivious to the differences carefully fostered by an alien government, which have divided a minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland, and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the provisional government hereby constituted will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity or rapine. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDermott, Thomas McDonough, Pádraig H. Pearse, Eamon Kent, James Connolly, Joseph Plunkett.
Gentlemen, that was Pádraig Pearse just reading the Proclamation of Independence. Now, Proclamation has been read to the people, and often, I suppose, a curious crowd on the streets of Dublin. Word soon spreads back to the British garrison that major trouble has broken out in Dublin. The first casualties of the day were Lancers, sent on a reconnaissance mission down O'Connell Street. Oblivious to the trouble that awaited them at the GPO, they were soon cut down by accurate and heavy fire from the roof and the windows of the General Post Office. News soon went back to Beggar's Bush Barracks. A large force of rebels had taken possession of the GPO and would have to be moved by force. The rebels, of course, were aware of the oncoming tide of the British Army, fortified the GPO and the surrounding buildings as best they could. But soon you're going to see the British Crown forces enter the reenactment area. forces start to take the GPO. The Crown forces now begin the final assault on the steps of the GPO. The GPO has now become untenable, and the Crown forces attack. The leaders of the East Horizon try to break down to the GPO but are unsuccessful. They're forced with no other option but to surrender. The General Post Office is now in the hands of the Crown forces.
Sergeant!
കഥ മനസ്സിലായില്ലല്ലേ പോകാൻ പറ്റില്ല പക്ഷെ അവർക്ക് കഥ മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല സാധനം മനസ്സിലായി
Is now about to surrender the General Post Office, the officer commanding Crown forces. The leaders of the General Post Office garrison will be soon led out. Padraig Pearse will be followed by the Fenian Tom Clark. James Connolly, the leader of the Irish Citizens Army, has been wounded in the ankle. James Connolly, like many of the other leaders, will go on to be executed for his role in the Easter Rising. Sean McDermott, another key leader of the Easter Rising. The last remnants of the GPO garrison will now be led out to the escorting British forces. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're soon about to conclude proceedings. So now we have the GPO, which has fallen back into the hands of the British Army, the British garrison. So this now concludes reenactment, but just before everyone goes, first of all, I'd like to have a huge round of applause for all our volunteer reenactors. I'd like to say a big thanks to the Munster Bar, which has very kindly agreed to feed this hungry rabble afterwards. I'd also like to say and ask people to support the Bishop's Palace Cafe, because I had to shut it for the day. So please support them if you can. I'd like to thank all the people in the museum behind us, Waterford Council, the 1916 Steering Committee, and just last but not least, all this events, as well as Waterford Council, is part of the Waterford City of Culture, Three Sisters City of Culture 2020 bid. So I would like again people to support that. And last but not least, tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the Mall, we're having a flag raising ceremony. It marks the 7th of March 1848, the first flying of the Irish tricolour flag. I would like again for you to come along. It won't be as noisy as this, but it will be colourful. There'll be lots of singing, family-friendly event. And just before I go, I would like to remind people, unfortunately we can't have anyone enter the reenactment area until all the blank ammunition is clear. And when we do that, we'll signal that, and then you're more than welcome to enter the area. But if you could just give us 5 minutes, it would be much appreciated. Thank you. Again, a big round of applause for our reenactors. And just for all our helpers that's here today, guys, if you can help pick up the blank ammunition, that'd be a great help.
Just for the animation. Come on, honey.